Indeed, even as makers surge fast into ZAP and self-sufficient driving, progressive inside ignition motor advances are as yet being produced. Consider the Mazda Skyactiv-X spark-controlled combustion ignition process, for instance. Be that as it may, Infiniti's VC turbo 4-chamber motor, which makes its presentation in the 2019 QX50, is genuinely a work of designing guts. The motor understands the long-held desire among motor producers to make an approach to modify the pressure proportion on the fly, an aid to both power and fuel proficiency. It's a splendid piece of science that's, lamentably, still looking for the correct auto. Try not to misunderstand us, the QX50 is superbly skillful, it's an exceedingly tranquil and agreeable cruiser. Notwithstanding, it's never again the driver-satisfying machine its ancestor was. That auto, initially known as the EX35, was worked on Nissan's lively FM stage, a front midship, race-wheel drive design putting the motor toward the back of the front hub line and giving the vehicle the athletic driving progression of a game car. Indeed, it was essentially a G37 hatchback, and it was sold as the Skyline crossover in Japan. An abbreviated FM body supported the 370Z, to put a better point on it. For those more worried about solace than corners, the 2019 QX50 may really be a more helpful. It rides on an all-new front-wheel drive skeleton, which implies it's ready to include more space for the two travelers and load. It exchanges a load of the old QX50's energy for solace and bundling effectiveness. In the event that sounds great to you, maybe the new QX50 is the correct hybrid. You may likewise need to skirt this next piece about the wondrous VC turbo motor, get the job done it to state it's productive, tranquil and capable. At the core of the 2019 QX50 is the world's first creation variable pressure motor, whose fundamental idea was portrayed 20 years back, said Nissan's boss powertrain build, Shinichi Kiga. It took us that long to get the math right. Ostensibly a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-barrel, its gathering trap is the way that the pressure proportion can shift somewhere in the range of 8:1 to 14:1, mechanically. That basically gives the VC turbo an interminably factor ignition chamber measure, which can be advanced for power or efficiency. The motor can work at low pressure proportions perfect for a turbo-helped burst of energy, however change without interference to a high pressure proportion for most extreme effectiveness without the risk of pre-detonation thumping. In a customary motor with a settled pressure proportion, it's a bargain between the two. The outcome is 268 flat 5,600 revolutions per minute, which is lower than the active 3.7-liter V6's 325 horsepower at 7,000 revolutions per minute, however crest control comes prior. More to the point, the VC turbo produces 280 pounds-to-foot of torque at a simple 1,600 revolutions per minute, besting the V6's 267 pounds-to-foot at 5,200 revolutions per minute. That is significantly more usable snort, even as it tastes 35% less fuel, 27 miles for each gallon versus the V6's 20 miles per gallon. The way to the VC turbo is a novel bit of building called the multi-link, which Kiga, an old-school motorhead, bore with him amid our whole meeting session. Unassuming in both name and appearance, the metal rhombus interface is the traditional cylinder associating bar to the crankshaft to a lower bar appended to an actuator arm. To shift the pressure proportion, a consonant drive pivots the arm, which thusly changes the edge of the multi-link, which abbreviates or extends the separation the cylinder ventures. At first look, it creates the impression that the variable pressure framework adds many-sided quality and mass to the motor, yet as per Senior Chief Chris Day, it doesn't include as much weight as you would believe. That's on account of the multi-link dispenses with the requirement for different parts, for example, offset shafts. The multi-link decreases the point of the associating bar, which lessens side-to-side movement of the cylinders, Day clarified. Since the cylinder movement is nearer to vertical, you needn't bother with the offset shafts. An outside torque bar, a favor name for a dynamic engine mount, additionally helps the VC turbo look after smoothness. Automakers have been taking a shot at variable pressure proportions since the beginning of the interior ignition motor. Saab, Volvo and Peugeot and in addition Nissan tried different things with mechanical forms. So can anyone explain why Nissan was the first to put up it for sale to the public?